Okay, so this is 2.4.4, and it kind of goes over the angle side theorem. So essentially, or like overall, what angle side says is that if you have, I'm just going to sketch it up here. If you have two triangles where you know that two angles and then one side, two angles are the same, and then one side of the two triangles also matches, but the side cannot be in between the two angles. So like if we kind of think of all the ways that we could write two angles and a side, or it would be two angles and a side like that, or two angles and a side like that. All of those are possible. It's the order that matters. So angle, side, angle, it's like, let's say we have this angle up top is 90 degrees, this angle up top is 90 degrees, and then these bottom angles match. And then the side, this side right here would be in between the two angles. That's angle, side, angle, okay? For angle, side, or this is the same, side, angle, we just call it angle, side. It's two angles, and then the side that matches could either be, the side that matches could either be this side, or, let's go back, this side. It cannot be the side in between the two angles. So you have two angles and then a side of your triangle, but specific, not the side that's in between the two angles, okay? Okay, so we're gonna kind of walk through all of these, and we're gonna go through and I'll talk about each one, make little notes. So the first one, it says, true or false, the triangles shown below must be congruent. Okay, so we know that we have side, side, side. If you know all three sides of your triangle are the same, then automatically the two triangles are congruent. We also have side, angle, side. So two sides with the angle in between the two sides. Then we learned angle, side, angle. Two angles with a side in between. And now we have angle, angle, side. Two angles with a side like not in between the two angles, but just one of the other sides. Okay, so there's two options there. Okay, so basically it says the triangle shown below must be congruent. So we'll call this one number 1. Okay, so what I'm going to check is that I can see like visually all the angles match. So I'm gonna use my highlighter here. So these angles are the same that are corresponding. These angles are both 90 degrees, and these angles up here are 45. So all the angles are the same, but that's not one of my options. So you'll see over there, angle, angle, angle is not an option. So I do have a side right here. This side is 12. So we could use, overall, we could use these two angles and this side. That would be angle, angle, side. Or we could use these two angles and this side. That would be angle, side, angle. Either way, however we want to do it, yes, these have to be congruent. So this would be true for this one, okay? The triangle shown must be congruent. All the angles are the same, and that bottom side for both of them is 12, so they have to be congruent, okay? All right, let's look at number 2. So number 2 here, again, I'm going to highlight. I have two angle pairs that are the same. So here's 51 degrees and 51 degrees. Those match. Then up top, 80 degrees and 80 degrees. I don't know my third angle, but I don't have to. It doesn't have to be shown. But then I do have this side is 10. So I want to know, is that one of these options over here? Okay. So I have two angles in one side. So that could be either angle, angle, side, or angle, side, angle. Okay, so then you just want to see, is the side that they give me between the two angles? No, that would be like here between my two angles. So it's not this one. It would have to be this one. So are those triangles congruent? Yes. The triangle shown must be congruent. So again, we're going to say true for that one. Okay. All right, let's do that again. So on this one, the triangle shown below must be congruent. Okay, so I have, again, I want to check my angle pairs. So here, 55 degrees and 55 degrees. I have 100 and 100, and then I have 25 and 25. So all my angles match. However, I don't have an option that says angle, angle, angle. That is not an option for triangle congruence. So angle, angle, angle does not work. Therefore, no, these do not have to be congruent. They could be congruent, but they don't have to be congruent. So here's the concept of angle, angle, angle. Basically, if I have like this little teeny tiny right triangle, and let's say this angle is 90 degrees, this angle is 45 degrees, and this angle is 45 degrees, I can have another right triangle with the same angle measures that are not congruent. So I can have all these angles are the same, but the sides are obviously much bigger. So this triangle is a smaller version of this large one, okay? So what we say is these triangles aren't congruent. They're what we call similar triangles, which you'll learn like in the next unit, I believe, okay? Okay, next one. So we're here on number 4. True or false, the triangle shown below must be congruent. Okay, so we're going to check the same thing. I just like to go through all of it. So 58 degrees and 58 degrees. I've got 60 and 60, and this is why I like to do the highlighting, 62 and 62. So far, all the angles measures match up, so they might be congruent, and then I want to look at my sides. So right here, 7 is in between the 62 and the 60. On this one, 7 is in between the 58 and the 62. So those do not match up. So like if you look at this set of information right here, they don't go in the correct order. So like the side with 7 is, again, just not in the right order, okay? That would be for angle, side, angle. Now, our other option would be angle, angle, side. So for angle, side, angle, it doesn't work. But for angle, angle, side, I want to know, does it work? Okay, so let's get rid of that little circle that I did. Okay, so let's look at this combination of sides here. So you have 60, 58, and then 7. That would be angle, angle, side. And then here you have 58, 60, and then 7. It still doesn't work. So if it doesn't work for one of them, it's not going to just work for the other one, okay? It's in the wrong order. So on this one, no, they do not have to be congruent. I'm going to say false. All right, number 5. So we're going to switch to some multiple choice. Now this one says, what else would need to be congruent to show that the two triangles are congruent? So show that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF by angle, angle, side. So I'm going to write this out. If we're showing something is congruent by angle, angle, side, we need 2 angles in our triangle and then a side on the outside, okay? So I have, again, if I do my highlighting, I have one pair of angles, and then I need another pair of angles. So I could either say this one, or I could say this one. Now, based on the other information you have, which is the side, so I have right here the side of 10 and the side of 10, now I can figure out, okay, do I need the orange angles or the red ones? I need the orange ones, because if I select the red ones, it makes it, like if you look at this group together, it's 2 angles, E and D, but the side is in between them. That would be not angle, angle, side. It would be angle, side, angle. Okay, so again, that's where the order matters. So I can't do angle A and angle D. It would have to be that this angle is congruent to this angle. So based on all of that information, you're going to have multiple choice options. You're going to select the one that says angle C is congruent to angle F. That's the other piece that we need in order to prove those triangles are congruent by angle, angle, side. Okay? Okay, so that's kind of hard. We're going to do that several more times. So this next one says, what else would need to be congruent to show that my two triangles are congruent, this time by angle, side, angle. So again, let's highlight and look at what we have. I have a 45-degree angle. There's one angle. I have a side that's 10. And then so a side that's 10. Then so the other thing that I need is this missing angle. So it has to go angle, and then a side, and then on the other side of that, angle. Angle, then a side, and then on the other side, angle. So what I'm missing, I need to say angle B is congruent to angle E, and that's going to be the option that you need. So angle B is congruent to angle E. That's the side, or those are the angle pairs that we're missing, okay? And then if we have that, you have 2 angles, like A and B with the congruent side in between them, and then here D and E with the congruent side in between them. So again, when the side is in between, we call that angle, side, angle. Hopefully this is making a little more sense to you, just having some explanation. All right, number 7, the next one. What else would need to be congruent to show that angle ABC, or triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF by the angle side theorem? Okay, now on this one, they gave you the information in like what's going to be called a proof, and I think you've done a little bit with proofs already. So they gave you the information, but they also marked the information on the diagram. So the first thing they gave us is that angle A is congruent to angle D. That's here. Angle A is congruent to angle D. They also told us side AB right here is congruent to side DE. So segment AB is congruent to segment DE. Now we want to do angle side. So I have an angle. Whoops, I put AAA. I did not mean to do that, sorry. Angle side. Okay, so I have an angle pair. I have a pair of sides. I need the other angle, so I'm missing another angle. And again, the order does matter. So I know that it's going to be this angle because if I look over here, the side is not in between the two angles. So if it was B and E, the side would be between the two angles. We don't want it to be between the two angles. We want the other one that makes it not between the two angles. So the part that you're missing, we want to say angle C is congruent to angle F for this one. Okay. All right. Number 8 then here. This will be our last one of these. What else would need to be congruent to show that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF, this time by side, angle, side. So again, I'm going to write over here, side, angle, side. I'm going to highlight and look at what they gave me. So angle A is congruent to angle D. Okay. I also have side AB is congruent to side DE. Okay, that's awesome. So I have, in what they gave me, I have an angle, that's here. I have one pair of sides, that would be here. I need another pair of sides, and I need to pick the pair of sides that would make the angle be between the two sides this time. So I need this pair of sides right here. Okay, so if I highlight this, I just really think the highlighting helps. If I highlight this, now you can see it's two sides with the angle in between the two sides. Two sides with the angle in between, which is what we have right here. Two sides, and then the angle is in between the two sides, okay? And then you would just want to write out what those two sides are. So that missing side that we have is what I highlighted in red. That would be AC is congruent to DF. AC is congruent to DF, and that would be the part that is missing, okay? All right, last couple here. So true or false, and these are like some definition type things from, or like if you read through the Apex lesson for this, so it'd be like lesson 2.4 on Apex, it kind of talks about this. So the first one says, number 9, side angle guarantees congruence between two triangles, okay? The simplest way that I always remember this, if you look at this and we were to write that backwards, so SSA, if you write it backwards or if you read it backwards, that's a bad word. And I always say we don't cuss in math, okay? So we'll learn why later on, but two triangles, if you have two sides that are the same, and then only one angle measure that is the same, that does not, like in that order, so two sides and then an angle, that does not necessarily prove that they're congruent. It would show that they're similar triangles, okay? So I'm going to say false. And then the way I remember this is we don't cuss in math. And I know that's silly, but that's just a way that you're going to remember that, okay? So side angle together in that order does not work. And then the last one, angle guarantees congruence between two triangles. Okay, so this is our keyword. It guarantees congruence. No. Angle does not guarantee congruence. I'm going to go way back up here. I kind of showed you this. I'm going to highlight this in green right here. I kind of showed you this at the beginning. So I said that if you know all three angles are the same, we cannot say that those triangles are congruent. So we can very clearly see this is a little tiny 45, 45, 90 triangle. This is a really big 45, 45, 90. They're similar. They're the same shape but different size. So think of like a dilation. It's like one is blown up. So like if you copy and paste it and you make it bigger, we start with something small, we make it bigger, that means they're no longer congruent, okay? So no, that one is false. So they're not congruent, they would be similar, okay? So hopefully that will help. That is 2.4.4.